Today, Sunday, the 8th of December 2024, we have some hand-picked events to share with you, which will be backed up by some stats and analytics to help you make your picks in this list to boost your winning by a greater percent. And to those of you who want to have access to our hand-picked events, which we share to members only, that is our top 10 or top 15 event based on 1.5 and 2.5 goal match prediction events, as well as our top corner kick events, which we share to members only. Then, of course, you want to make sure to subscribe or join the Level 2 Pro package plan to start to have access to all of these to take your winning to the next level. To those of you who want to join, the link is below this video. You want to navigate, click on it, navigate and join as a member to start to have access to all of these features. So without wasting time, I'm going to begin with the first match pick of today's list. Looking at the first event, we looked at Australia in the A-League, a match between Melbourne Victory against Perth Glory. Looking at this, of course, the performance of Melbourne Victory based on recent event they have had proved that they are very good based on recent event. Its opponent, on the other hand, is very conceding and the defensive power is not very strong. Looking at the last head-to-head which they have met this same year, they have met twice, and Melbourne Victory has always lead with the possibility of at least 1.5 or 2.5 goals. Looking at the performance in terms of stand, comparing the form of these two based on recent event they have had, the performance of the home team Melbourne Victory sits on the second position. They have recently had two events, 2 lead, 4 goals scored and 1 concede. That's a good offense and the defense is great. But that of the away, based on the defensive power, you're going to see that the defensive power is weak and the offense is just average. And looking here at everything in place, we want to look at 2 major picks in full time. For this particular event, the performance of the home Melbourne Victory is still very good. The offensive power is great and the defense is still strong. And looking at the last 2 head-to-head they have met, of course, Melbourne Victory has always lead. This time, it is still topping the table based on form, defense, and offense. And since the defense of the away is weak, we want to still look at Melbourne Victory to take the lead in full time as one of the major picks. And we also want to look at least 1.5 goal to occur in this match in full time. Looking at the next, we'll look at Asia in the championship qualification, a match between Mongolia against Hong Kong. For this event, Mongolia, the home, of course, is not as good as compared to the away team. Mongolia proved to be conceding based on recent event. The opponent, on the other hand, proved that they are very offensive and they have mostly had game in the friendly international where the offensive power has been very great. Looking at the last performance based on head-to-head Mongolia and Hong Kong has always lead with difference of at least 6 to 10 goals. This time, of course, Hong Kong, the away team, still have a good form. We want to look at the stand performance of these two. We are going to see that Hong Kong has been placed here on the first. No match event has been played yet. And looking at the recent performance of these two, Hong Kong, the away, still proved that they are good in terms of recent event they have had. And looking at everything in place, we want to look at 2 major picks here in full time. For this particular event, Hong Kong, the away team, is still good at offense. And since the past head-to-head, Hong Kong, the away team, has always lead. The performance based on recent match play still proved that Hong Kong, the away team, still stand a better chance to lead. So we want to look at Hong Kong to still lead in full time, as well as the possibility of at least 1.5 goal to occur in this match in full time. Looking at the next, we'll look at Italy in the Serie A women, Juventus against Lazio. The performance of Juventus recently have proved that they had a good strength based on the Serie A of the women itself. They've had games, especially also in the Champions League of Women and against Arsenal, and you can see that Arsenal had lead. So Arsenal is very strong. But Lazio, on the other hand, mostly in the Serie A, have had games with teams like Roma where they perform a lose. And looking at the recent head-to-head they met this same year, Juventus played at away in lead by 2-1. This time, Juventus is coming home, and comparing the form of this in terms of recent game played, Juventus at home have proved that they are good. They've had 5 events recently with 4 wins, 15 goals scored, and 5 conceded. That's a very high offense, and the defense is also great. The performance of Lazio, on the other hand, sits right here on the last position of the table based on away, and the defense is not great, the offense is just average. And looking at everything in place, we want to look at two major picks here in full time. For this event, Juventus women have always lead. Of course, the performance recently have proved that they are still very offensive with a great form. And since the offense is very high and the defense of the away team is not that tough, we still want to look at the home team to take advantage of the weak defense of the away to lead in full time as one of the major picks, as well as the possibility of at least 1.5 or 2 goals over in this event in full time. Looking at the next, we'll look at Scotland in the Premiership, a match between Ross County against Rangers. For this event, the performance of Ross County have proved to be as average comparing to Rangers on the other hand that have a very high offense. The recent head-to-head they have met this time 3 times this same year, Rangers has always lead, as well as the possibility of 1.5 and 2.5 goals. You can see 6, 5, and 4. And this time, of course, the performance of these two comparison based on form, Rangers, the away team, of course, proved here to sit on the fifth position. Though the offensive power here proved that they are just average, and comparing to that of the home, you can see that Ross County proved to be here a good offense, but the defense is slack. And looking at everything in place, we want to look at two major picks in full time. For this particular event, of course, Rangers based on the way offense is not very great, but the defense is slack and the offense of the home is good. And since Rangers is also an offensive team, we don't want to look at a straight probability for a win for Rangers, but this time, both of the two sides want to impress. And since most of the head-to-head between the two has always led to at least 1.5 and 2.5 goals, both of these two sides are not very still tight in defense based on the position of home and away. Therefore, we still want to look at high impression rate shoot on and off target resulting to goals. So 1.5 goals and 2 goals over is our major pick for this particular event in full time. Looking at the next here, we look at England in the Super League women, Man City women against Leicester women. The performance of Man City women based on recent game played have proved that they are very offensive, comparing to that of Leicester, on the other hand, that concede too much goals. The recent head-to-head they have had this same year, of course, Man City have had 2 games against Leicester where they have had lead in both of the 2 head-to-head. This time, the stand performance of these two in terms of form, Man City, which is the home team, still proved to be very offensive. They sit here on the second position, having played 4 games, they have had all the 4 wins, scoring 9 and conceding 1. That's a great offense and also a great defense. But the performance of its opponent, on the other hand, Leicester, here proved that the defense is average and the offense is just average. And looking at everything in place here, we want to look at 2 major picks in full time. For this particular event, the performance of Man City women is still very strong. And the offense here is going to take advantage of the average defense of the away. So we want to look at the home, which is Man City women to lead in full time, as well as the possibility of at least 1.5 goal in full time for this particular event. So the home to lead and as well as 1.5 goals. Looking at the next, we look still in the England Super League women, but this time Arsenal women against Aston Villa. Looking at the performance of Arsenal women based on recent event, the performance have been very offensive comparing to Aston on the other hand. The recent head-to-head they have met twice this same year, of course, in the Cup and also in the Super League, where Arsenal has always lead, and also the possibility of at least 1.5 and 2.5 goals. Looking at the stance performance of these two in terms of form comparison by Arsenal and Aston Villa, Arsenal here proved that they are good at offense and the defense is average. Looking at Aston Villa, on the other hand, they are here very weak defense and the offense is just average. And looking at everything in place, we want to look at 2 major picks in full time. For this particular event, of course, especially Arsenal is good at offense. The defense of the away is not very tight, and we want to look at the fact that since both of the two sides want to impress, goals probability is the major option here. So we want to look at least 1.5 going full time as one of the major picks, as well as 2 goals over. Looking at the next, we look still in the Women's Super League of England, but this time Chelsea against Brighton. Looking at Chelsea, they have proved to be very offensive based on recent events they have had, scoring between 3-2 goals per each event. The performance of its opponent, on the other hand, have also proved to be an offensive team and they do concede as well. The recent head-to-head they just had this year, Chelsea women played at away and they lead by 3-0. This time it is coming home and with a good offense. Comparing the stands in terms of form, Chelsea women, the home team, proved to lead. As you can see, based on the home performance, they are very great. 4 matches played, 4 wins, 9 goals scored, and 2 conceded. Good offense. And comparing to Brighton, on the other hand, they are also proved to be very weak in defense whenever they are at the away. And looking here at everything in place, we want to look at 2 major picks in full time. For these particular events, of course, the home team, Chelsea, is very good at home. The away team is also very good at home, but based on the way the defense is poor. And of course, since this tournament, both of the two sides we want to impress, we don't want to give a particular favorite, but goals probability is one of the main options. At least 1.5 going full time or 2 goals over. And to those of you who want to access our handpick event based on our top 10 list of game predictions with huge odds as well as corner kicks, which we share to members only, to take your winning to the next level, then you want to subscribe to the Level 2 Pro plan. To join, the link is below this video description. You want to navigate, click and join to become a member to start to have access to all of these to benefit from these features. Good luck and see you again in the next upload, and bye-bye for now.